Hello everyone, welcome to the new episode of Professional Unplugged. I'm your host Utkarsh Shukla and let me introduce you to my guest Aastha. Aastha, thank you so much for joining in.
Thank you so much, Utkarsh, for having me.
Thank you so much. So let's start with our very basic question. Can you please introduce your audience to yourself, like who you are, what work you do, anything you want us to know about you?
Okay, I am a storyteller. I'll start with that basic introduction. I am a storyteller at heart and a strategist, which I want to become as a professional. Right now, I am owning my skills for both storytelling and being a strategist at the Indian Institute of Mass Communication. I am pursuing advertising and public relations. And my journey as storytelling started with writing on LinkedIn and a professor who told us a story about pet rock. Have you heard that story?
We'll be happy to
So
hear.
that was a story where I actually realized how storytelling could be a real thing, how it could do wonders, how a ridiculous idea could actually get millions of dollars just because of storytelling. So उससे पहले I used to think that storytelling is yeah fine होता ही है, but after that that was one point when I realized I need to do this for the rest of my life. So that's what I do.
What was the story?
Right. Have you heard of Pet Rock?
No, if you can just remind me, or you can just tell the story so that everyone can know who doesn't know it.
Right. So this story actually a professor told us in class. But I read about it more and I found out that they basically in 1970s, it was I think somewhere in Europe, in Russia maybe, and there was this guy called Gary something, and Gary had one day he was going to a bar to meet some of his friends for drinks and everything. So he got a little late and his friends were angry with him that he was so late and everything. So he said what did you do to pass your time? This was before the phone era, so obviously they didn't have phones to pass their time. So he said you could take a rock, keep it as with you as a pet. So when they heard the word pet, they were all, you know, uh, so they were all complaining about how pets are a big burden, and if you have a dog or a cat, it's so difficult to take care of them. So he got this idea that what if I tell you this rock I have that I picked out from the road is a pet and you can carry it with yourself and it is very low maintenance and everything. You don't have to do anything and it's a pet for you. Now, do you have Amazon app on your phone? Can you search pet rock? Yeah, I want you to do that because I want you to see that for yourself. How big do you think the idea could be, and what would be the price of pet rock if you have to sell this?
I mean, that can be uh, vary between 100 INR to 1000.
No, no, scroll more. There's a legit pet rock which sells
Okay,
for
9,000.
8,000.
Yeah,
Yes,
8,300.
that is the one. That is the one that he started. It started in 1970s, imagine. Okay, and it is still available on Amazon. You can buy that for yourself. I would recommend you to buy
We
that.
don't need a pet.
Okay. But how ridiculous it is, right? A
Yeah,
pet, a rock. Okay, but people actually bought this and he sold millions of those rock. And he got I think $15 million from selling rocks as pets. So this is something this is something that ignited my spark that I want to do storytelling. That if you can sell a rock with the storytelling, what can you do with myself? What can I do with myself, or you can do with your life, or in my career as a professional or personally as well. So,
I think this is a very interesting story. Pretty much inspiration. So if you know how to sell things or if you know how to communicate, you can sell
right.
anything, even for yourself as well. Like you need to brand yourself in such a way. That's why I think resumes exist and your profile exist, your portfolio exist. exist, right? So this is a pretty good example that you told us. And if someone is on low confidence, you can share this story with them. Like someone can sell a rock, why you can't sell yourself to a company,
Exactly.
or why you can't sell your skills rather than yourself.
Yeah, I know. I mean, how ridiculous. I have a small ridiculous idea just because of storytelling could do such wonders. So you can do anything with a little shift in your storytelling.
It's really great. And if I ask you, like, what was the main inspiration before this story, right? Because this is something that you had in your college, right? Why did
Right.
you choose this career?
Okay, I chose this. I was in my second year in college in Lady Shri Ram College for Women, and I was pursuing journalism. And that's when I did an internship at the Indian Express, and I was working as a news writing intern, and it was very boring and it was very toxic because I used to write about crime and murder and all those stuff. I don't know why my boss wanted me to write on murder, but that's when I realized that first of all, this is not what I want to do for the rest of my life. And second of all, as I was flipping through pages of the Indian Express newspaper every day, what caught my attention more than news, actually not at all with news, was advertisements. And I wanted to look into what advertising as a field is. So that was coincided with our professional course in my college uni with advertising and PR. So that's when I realized that I was learning about this and I looked into this field. Then I also had a senior who was working for Ogilvy at that time, and I visited her once, and she told me about her life as like her one day in her life, basically. So it's instantly clicked me that this is something I want to do for the rest of my life as an advertiser or a PR professional. But what I want to focus is on storytelling because this storytelling idea actually came in later when we in our last semester of our college we actually had to do a social media campaign. Okay, we were divided in groups and assigned any you take any topic and just make a social media campaign out of it, and we were working on different stories. I was working on two three like projects. So one of them was feminine wars, one of them was body cause, and a body cause was one project. It's still available, by the way. So body cause, what body cause did was we created very easy content. We recorded that from our laptops. We played an ad or a tvc or anything and just created a story and a narrative, and it hit. We got 9 million views in in like uh in I think 10 days. 9 million. Okay. And we were going crazy because this was a huge thing
Yeah.
for us at that time in third year in our college. So had an engagement rate of about 80 lakh people in 1 month. This was just a 1.5 month campaign. So it was only because, and the content, by the way, is very easy. We didn't make that. It was copyrighted. It was everything available on the internet already. But just because we added a story to it, it sell off, and we got that recognition as well. So,
Can you share
uh,
an example, like what was the story and how do you guys worked on it, so that anyone who wants to
uh,
understand, they can get overview of it?
right. So, if anyone is watching right now and who wants to be a content creator or is a content creator like yourself, you never know what story would go off, right? You never know. You can spend 10 years or the whole life to understand how algorithm works, but it never really, and you can never understand what would go off. So the content we used was actually body cause was first about body positivity, especially in women, because it was a girls' college and we and our audience was women. So I thought it was women, but actually it didn't go out that way. In body cause so okay, sorry. We in different groups. For example, in Feminiverse, we created content like speaking on reels or even dancing or creating fun reels. And that's what we actually invested our time and energy into. But body gauze was something which was very easy, which came out very easy because we kept our laptop in front. We played some movies, web series, or ads that showed body positivity, like those that in that monologue of Tapsi Pannu in Thappad movie, and there was this ad from I think Tanishq, where we show that was the reel that won 9 million, by the way, the Tanishq ad. It was already existing, okay? We never created anything new, but we created the story around it. We created this, that how is it relevant for us? How that story, how that portrayal of women is relevant for us women who are in the age group of 2021 and students and all. So this was something that first blew off in our college because obviously it's a girls' college, and then everywhere basically. So we ourselves don't know how this blew off, but it just did, and I believe it was because of the storytelling.
So, what was the main story behind the overlay that you did on that ad?
How body positive how body positivity is relevant for our life,
Okay.
how it is important for our life. Because we have heard body positivity, you have heard it, right? But what if I tell you, if you look at yourself in a different way, that would change your life? Like in your body, in your appearances, if you look at it in a different way, it can change your life. That was the main idea behind it. And we started off with our research, and we found out that Dove Real Beauty campaign. And we found out that Dove did a research where we believe that women think of themselves as beautiful. But in that beauty campaign, in that research, they found out that only 2% of women, out of like 2% of women, believe that they are beautiful. So this is the narrative that was existing, and we wanted to change that. And we wanted people to see themselves as differently. Through storytelling, we did that. So that's what.
Okay, so I think the main outcome that you guys wanted to portray through it was to have a self-confidence and to
Right.
accept yourself as you are, rather than
Yes, yes, yes.
comparison and other things, right? And I
Right. Right.
That's great. So, if I ask you, like, through all your campaignings and other stuff, if you can share any incident or example that you think was the best moment apart from this reel going viral or this video, right? So, what it will be in terms of experience?
In terms of experience, yes. So as a part of our campaign only, we had to do, so our professor actually asked us to do different types of things. So like reels over, and we made posts, and we actually took a vox pop. So vox pop, you do realize what it is, right?
Yeah, I know, but if you can just brief for
Okay, so in Vox Pop, you go around in the college or outside the college, and you go around with a mic or a camera, and you ask people just short one or two questions, and then record those short snippets and edit it together. So for our Vox Pop, we spent a whole day in our college, and then in and around CP. So we were talking to young women and men both, because that was the point we realized that our audience was also men. We were aiming for women, but since it was a huge success, it also reached out to men gratefully. So that's so what happened. What we were sitting, we was roaming around in CP and talking to young women and men, and one of them shared a story about. It was a very personal story. I don't think I can share the complete story, but I'll tell you the main thing. So she started crying. She started. She started crying, and she got very emotional when we told her about what our page wants to do and what our campaign is about. Because she told us that she used to self harm. She used to she image of uh, the image of her body in her mind is very different from what others perceive. She kind of had body dysmorphia and she used to self-harm, and she told us her story of her success of getting through it uh, slowly, and it is a very obviously a gradual process, and that's when we realize how real this campaign is and how important this is, because she started crying in front of us and we were looking at her like, what happened, what just happened? And she with the and we spent like an hour with her. We discussed her life and we wanted to tell her how beautiful she is, and we wanted to tell her just how different her perspective is, and we wanted to change that perspective. So we started with our stories, and we showed her one thing. We showed her beauty standards across the world. If you have seen, you would realize beauty standards across the world are very different, right? For example, in China, you want small feet. In Africa, for example, you want big earlobes for some reason. In Korea side, you want clear skin and a very thin woman. So we showed her that, and we talked to her for half an hour and so on. uh, that's when she started crying, and she said that this conversation actually created a huge impact in her life. So that was one moment we realized that we are actually doing something. Okay, it's not just for marks, it's not just a campaign we're doing for getting a appreciation from a professor. This was something actually that actually got us the appreciation from a random stranger we talked to, and even if we had even if we had a very small impact in her life, that what was a huge success for us. So I still remember that moment when she was crying. I'm repeating that, sorry, but uh
Yeah, that's
yes,
great.
so that was
Yeah, when you make an impact in someone's life, either directly or indirectly, it pays you in
right,
ways. And coming to this topic where you said like every country has their own perception of beauty and grace, right? And especially in India, if you see, there are many ads that post
right,
like you need to be brighter, you need to slim and trim in order to be called beautiful. So I think these are certain perception that needs to changed, and even not
right,
that
right.
you need to be educated. Like these are just marketing stunt. Although you are coming from that same field, I want.
No, I agree with this. We actually did file an RTI about how, if we filed an RTI in college only about how the RTI was about, we wanted to know about the Fair and Lovely brand, and if they were actually doing any research about that people want this, or are they selling it and telling them if they want this. There's a difference between the both the story narratives, and we found out, unfortunately, people actually want that. People actually want fairness. People actually want white skin for some reason. I don't know.
I think they
So
have
that was
advertised it so
heartbreaking.
much. They have advertised it so much that it's become a necessary myth, especially in India, right? And
Right.
I found this problem only in India because I was in London for a couple of weeks and I never faced certain issues where you are discriminated on the basis of your color,
Mm,
gender, right? So these are certain things I think because of some norms or because of some false advertising that has happened, but slowly,
right.
steadily, the new generation and people are knowing these things like you. So it's good to see on the same direction, right? And
Right.
asking you about your internship and persona, right? So how do you see these things? Like, what are the main aspect in terms of PR and other things? It is going in today's world, and how you think it should be taken?
I didn't understand the question
So the
exactly.
PR thing, like public relation, how do you see it in today's world?
Okay. So in simple words, advertising is what the brand tells you about themselves, and public relations is what the others say about the brand. The brand could be a company, could be a product, could be a service, could be you, could be a person, could be a celebrity, a politician, anything. So, what the public opinion about that is PR. Uh, I don't want to go into political PR because that's very toxic, but it pays well. But I still don't want to go there. As I said, I want to go into for brands mostly. But I could explore myself into celebrity PR or online reputation management. There's a thing, right? If you think Salman Khan does that being human thing, it's all PR, you all know,
Yeah.
right? So that's what I want to explore myself into. But I think in the emerging trends, as more and more people are aware about PR and everything, I think they're getting aware that this is PR. They can understand this is PR. This is not actual public opinion. So I think emerging trends would be about brands and the reputation management thing would go down because people want the real thing out of a celebrity, you know. They don't want that scripted interviews anymore, I think.
So how do you look at this stuff? Like, if suppose you are a PR for a certain celebrity, right? How do you want them to share the things with you so that you can take it to the public?
If I was, for example, managing a celebrity, I would want them to be as real as possible. There are celebrities who do that. For example, there's Janvi Kapoor's interview, very recent point where people think it's a real thing, but obviously it is a PR activity only. But her PR team is very smart. They are actually playing into making her appear more real, at least on camera. Right, it's not like Salman Khan and those olden times PR. So it has all changed now, and that is a one good thing I want to see more. If I was, for example, also managing any celebrity, I would want them to be more real on camera and show the real brand.
That's good. And suppose someone wants to come into this industry, what is the path for them?
The ad and PR industry. Uh, there are many paths. I think you can go, a lot of people go from journalism to PR or journalism to advertising also. Many of them do MBAs, and there are engineers in our class as well, by the way. So you can, this is one field where you can come from anywhere. You can come from journalism. People change their career paths also. There are people in our class who are 28 year or so, and they have changed their career paths now and they want to go into this field. So there is no restriction for that. You can if you want to. You can do it if you have the sense of storytelling. You can if you have that spark. Rest, I think you'll figure out, but that's what you need to get into.
Do you need to have a social presence in order to come to this field?
It is advisable.
Okay.
It is not it is not strict. Many of people don't have a social media presence, but it is always better to have them. Like I am not very comfortable even after those social media campaigns. I'm not very comfortable of coming into camera or to make reels for engagement. I can write content for LinkedIn, which I do, and that's also for a very specific reason. Okay, I like, for example, some professors in our college used to say, what is one thing you could do for the rest of your life if you were not even paid, like for no monetary returns? What is one thing you could do for the rest of your life? And for me, that would be storytelling and content, like writing part for now. So that's what I write LinkedIn for. Basically, obviously I'm not getting any monetary gains or any direct advantage out of it, but I still do it for myself. So obviously, if I get appreciated like people like you, I am I am honored, I am very thrilled. But even if that doesn't happen, I do it for myself because I enjoy doing that.
I totally agree with you. I think these things help you as a person as well. Once you are writing, you get to know the
Right,
and you get to know the taste of the audience, the surrounding you, right?
right,
This is something you can do without pay. That's for you because somehow in one way or another you are improving yourself
right,
to writing and expressing yourself. And expressions can be in terms of writing, can be in terms of video. So I don't think there should be a filter, like you said. You need to be in a video.
right.
Can be
And
anything.
even on LinkedIn, people think that since it's a professional app, you need to write everything professionally and well designed and everything. I don't follow that.
I
I
know
don't like to
those days
follow
are
that.
gone.
I'm very
LinkedIn is
informal.
slightly turning into more flexible platform. Like you see
Right,
options, and I
right.
read
I'm
some,
happy with that.
and I also read somewhere they're starting a dating app or something on LinkedIn
Why?
only. So I don't think
Why dating app? Why?
because they have all those insights of salaries and other stuff. I
So
have
for
read,
women, all apps are dating apps because if you exist anywhere online, you
yeah,
can get uh those things.
but they
So
are branding it as a dating brand or something like a feature or something. I think they haven't.
that's
I read it. I know I read it somewhere.
that's not how they should brand. If I was managing LinkedIn account, I would not do that.
So
That's a
see,
wrong thing, I
anything can happen once the CEO or CTOs are changed. If you see what
think.
happened to Twitter,
Right, right.
and at the starting, people said they are not going to pay for that uh, ticket mark, blue tick mark, but now everyone is paying for it, right?
Right, right, right.
At the starting, people might say no to you, but if your strategy is fine, Elon Musk is a living example. He's now US.
But that is okay. That would be a case study of how not to rebrand your app or your brand. Okay, that is one case study people would remember for the rest of their
But
lives
now I
because
think Twitter is making great. He is just won election for Trump.
no, no, I'm talking about LinkedIn. If
Oh,
LinkedIn
okay.
does that, that would be disastrous, I think.
I don't think. I think they can make millions, especially for Indian audience. I don't think that's what we can come again in this podcast once they have launched it and see the result, and then we can have a POC on it. Or like
Let people decide that in the comments, maybe, or we'll see that.
you are on the opposite side, I'm on the opposite side of it. I think they make millions of it. I'm talking from the business aspect. You're talking from a personal aspect.
No, on a business aspect as well. For example, if any brand changes their own personality, that is disastrous usually.
I think,
Like what Jaguar has done with its new logo. Have you seen that?
yeah,
They have
everyone is
all
talking about.
redefined their branding, and people are actually bashing it out. It is not a good rebranding. This is not how you rebrand. So this will be a case study in do's and don'ts. They'll keep it as don't. Don't do this to your brand. They've
So,
changed the personality.
as
So
an engineer, we were talking about the same thing yesterday on my as a professional. We used to design things, these logos and others.
right, right, right.
We saw there is a trend in the industry where we are moving towards simple things. So one of my team,
Minimalist.
he gave me
Hmm.
example like, have you seen Creta, Hyundai Creta?
Yes, yes, yes.
Have you seen the new design?
Right, I have.
Now their headlights are straight lines,
I know.
pretty much
So,
like very easy, and the older generation is not liking it. Like I said no, I said I don't like this design. I like the previous models. Similarly, the age group from 25 plus, they are like, we don't like this one. But a
hmm.
certain group, the Gen Z or the more new one, they are like, we like this one. They are much simpler. And similarly, if you see your household things, right? Previously, there were too much things like crafting and the rest, but that is totally gone. So somehow, somewhere, there is a trend in the industry that's moving towards simpler things. That's why Jaguar has removed that. Jaguar, they have removed the Jaguar itself from.
Right, exactly. That's what I'm saying. I mean, but the thing is, if you're going to simpler and minimalist designs, you keep into consideration what you're doing it for. You're doing it for Jaguar, which is considered as a luxury brand for cars. Like it comes into luxury, corporate luxury or whatever, but it still is luxury, right? You have taken that luxury out of it when making it this simple. So it has changed the personality. There's a mismatch. So that's what
And
I
be a
was saying.
PR stunt as well,
I
like
will write a LinkedIn post about this and tag you.
and for the LinkedIn as well, I think they're not changing the brand, they're adding a feature. But dating feature is getting added. That's not rebranding, I can say. You are more towards this field. I am not going to question you on it. I think they
No,
are,
it is rebranding, but it is a weird, very weird rebranding. Don't do this, LinkedIn.
so
But let's
I
see.
give you example, like cricket used to be test and ODI, then T20 got added. At the starting, people bashed it, right? If you remember, like they are killing the test cricket, but test cricket is
Right,
live. T20 is just
right, right, right.
so it totally depends on how they are going to brand it. I think how they are going to brand this feature or sell this feature.
True, right. If they come out with a very great storytelling,
Great
okay, they
story.
can even sell any
Yeah.
ridiculous idea. That would be fun to watch.
Yeah, definitely. I think the same thing happened with Instagram as well. If you remember, once they started that blue tick mark on Instagram, everyone
Hmm.
said we don't want it. Now there is a queue.
Right.
You need to wait for months to get it. Never say
Exactly.
never. So,
And
Arthur,
that's true.
yeah, so I think we are done with the podcast. So thank you so much for sharing your insights. I hope it was a great session for you as well. I really enjoyed this session a lot.
Thank you so much, Utkarsh, for having me. This has been a very insightful session for me. I'll remember this for a very long time, I tell you. Uh,
Thank you so
so yeah.
much. Thank you.